said, I want a ticket to go into this bar, please. And I mean, I didn't know it was a nude bar and all that stuff, but I mean, I was slaughtered. And then the guy like sort of says, I need your wallet and all this shit. So it's like, okay. But I said, how am I going to buy drinks? He's like, no, the drinks are free. I was like, fuck yeah. Take my shit. Then he gives me a clothes hanger. I was like, what's this for? It's like, your clothes. I was like, okay, free drinks. Get naked. Yeah. Go into the change room. Got my kid off. And next thing, old Tim comes running in. Like, get the fuck out of here.
What are you doing?
Okay, guys, welcome back to the Weekly Order. Today we're joined by Sam Wright. She's very into the tech industry and the gaming industry, but we're going to let her obviously explain everything to you because we obviously don't know it that well. So yeah, Sam, floor's yours. Let us know what's going on, who you are, and yeah, how you got into everything.
So who I am. So Sam, on the internet people know me as Tech Girl, which I wish wasn't the case, but I made a mistake when I was younger and chose a bad name. And basically I commentate on video games for a living. Okay. And then create content around video games and tech.
Fuck, that's dope.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that Tech Girl's not a good name?
I hated that name. You know, when I started, so I gamed, but I wanted to start a blog, but I didn't want to bring gaming into it because I was young and I was like a bit insecure about like a girl talking about games. So I wanted it to just be about like technology and like nerdy stuff, and I couldn't find a domain that was available. So I can't even remember the names now, but there was like a bunch of names that I just couldn't get. And then eventually my one mate was like, why don't we just call it Tech Girl? Like, that's nerdy. There's superheroes, tech involved. And I was like, that's a shit name. Yeah. Like, I still remember the conversation. I was like, what a shit name. And then she was like, the domain's available. And I was like, fine, just book it. And then I took my actual gaming name and got rid of it and was like, okay, cool, I'll be Tech Girl. And then now I look back and I'm just like, why couldn't you have been a little bit more patient and more creative and tried a bit harder?
Yeah, so you briefly mentioned it there, but was it difficult as a girl getting into the gaming industry, or did you feel like it was difficult, it was not that difficult, or?
I think at that time, so like I said, I played games. I didn't want to talk about it online. So I grew up playing games. My family was super nerdy. In high school, I stopped for a bit because it was back in the day when playing video games, there was actually a stigma to playing games. Now everyone's cool if they play games. Back then, if you played games, social suicide.
Yeah.
So I stopped a bit in high school. Then I was still playing, but I didn't really want to put that on the internet because I knew what it was like when I played a video game and switched my mic on the way I got treated being a girl. So I was like, I'm not going to talk about it. I got a little bit more comfortable in my skin, and then I did. Getting into the industry was horrible. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It was really shit being a girl. I think there was one group of people that would be like, you should definitely do this because you're a girl. They didn't care what I had to say. Yeah. They didn't care if I knew what I was talking. It was just like, oh, have vagina, come talk about games. And then on the other side, there was just people that were like, there's no way you have like, and this is still the case as if you're a girl, you have to be either super sexy and have your boobs out, or you have to be really, really good. There's like no in between, and that was quite tough. It's got a lot better over the years. Like, I see more girls getting involved and not dealing with the same stuff. But when I started, it was quite an eye-opener. Because
that's the thing though. So I obviously, just a bit of background for all the viewers and listeners. I've obviously been into gaming a bit my whole life, where Mike and Frey haven't. So I've seen creators like there are female streamers that have blown up worldwide, not just in South Africa. Porn? No, so but like you get
some do though. Yeah, but I mean,
so you get streamers like Loser Fruits and Valkyrie who are doing like very well at the moment. And when you do look at the female streamers, right, and what makes them successful, a lot of them, if you go on like Twitch and you watch a female stream, a lot of them will literally have like their tits out, like literally like that's what the whole stream is about, you know. And I think it's a bit sad, you know, that girls sometimes have to feel that way to actually make it in an industry, or they feel like that's the easiest path to make it into that industry, you know. Where if you watch a male YouTuber or streamer, it's obviously for the content that he's producing or his gameplay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you look at someone like Ninja in Fortnite sense, which you fucking hate. But anyway, spoke about this off camera.
I like Ninja though, but yeah.
Okay, but yeah, he obviously got well known for the way he reacted to everything and the way his gameplay was, right? Where if you look at people like, I don't know, like Loser Fruits or someone else, they got well known because they're pretty looking girls, you know? So it's like very different. It's still an industry that I want to say is very gender different, you know? like the
I
path
think
to
definitely
the
so, yeah.
the path to making it is way different, you know.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to say from this is like, do you think this is toxic for the industry? Do you think it's not good for the industry? How people are viewing it? Do you think it comes down to the community, the viewers, or do you think it comes down to just how the industry has been built? Which is quite hectic. But
It's such a hectic question. So there's a lot of incredible female streamers who also happen to be beautiful.
Yeah, so it's not also a sin to be beautiful.
So it's like, it sucks a bit for them because like I know that there's one Glitter Explosion who plays Apex Legends. I think she's phenomenal and she's one of the most gorgeous women I've ever seen. And it sucks for her because she's really good at the game and people will sometimes come into her chats and be like, oh, just a pretty girl. And I'm like, no, if you watch her, she's actually super smart. She plays well. But then there is obviously girls. I watched a stream once. It was some Russian chick. So she's a Just Dance streamer.
Okay.
And she Just Dance is a game.
Just Dance
Okay, so
streamer.
here's how Just Dance works, right? So it's a game where you hold these controllers and then there's a person dancing. It's like a kiddies game. I don't know if it's a kiddies game. It's not so bad.
This is the one with like the arrows and you put it.
Yeah, well, no, that was where it originally came from. Now you hold controllers and they're motion controlled, so you just follow the moves.
Yeah.
And they're like cheesy dances. There's nothing sexual about them. They're super cheesy. It's fun songs. And I don't know how I found her. I was just going down a rabbit hole. She's this Russian girl and she does Just Dance, but she does Just Dance in these tiny little yoga pants. Yeah. And Twitch has got really strict now, so you have to actually cover up. Believe it or not. But like she was making sure that she was just pushing the boundaries just enough. And then she'd kind of stand there and dance. But she wouldn't even do the dance. Like, I can see her screen and she's not even doing it. She's just kind of like touching herself or whatever. But then I'm watching her donations. And she's
that's
like,
crazy.
she basically bought her entire setup from that. And the money is just coming in. And now her next donation goal is a house. And I'm sitting watching with 200 other people in the chat just writing about how sexy she is. And then every so often she'll just sit and like talk to the camera for a bit and like smile and laugh. And then she'll stand up and do another dance.
I mean, that's so strange
the
how people...
whole point of it. I mean,
it was so weird. And like for me, I get frustrated when I see that because obviously I don't want to be just seen as girl sexuality, whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, there's another part of me where I am I'm a feminist in the sense that I'm like, you know what? If that's working for you and you've picked up that that's going to happen, hell,
yeah,
right?
that's exactly,
if you can buy a house with
yeah.
that money, well done to you. Like I don't have your body, your rules. And if you've picked up that there's a lot of thirsty gamer boys willing to throw money at you.
It's crazy that people actually throw money, dude. It's fucking...
Yeah,
like,
I think...
So, like, obviously, sorry, you understand when you're watching something, right? DSTV, I always bring it back to DSTV. I pay for DSTV, but we don't fucking watch it, bro. Okay? But then I'll watch someone stream for free or watch something on YouTube. I'm big into YouTube. And I don't pay for that service. And I'm like, is that fair though? Where I spend majority of my time and my, where all my enjoyment comes from, I don't pay for it, but I pay fucking 900 Rand for DSTV and I don't even watch that.
Yeah, but you're subliminally paying for it by viewing a video that has adverts on it.
But remember though, if you had to pay them as you were paying a DSTV subscription or obviously it's one channel. So let's say you pay 50 Rand a month to watch one person do something.
Yeah.
How much more will that boost their income?
Well, I'm not going to pay that.
But why?
I want to watch it for free.
Why?
Well, I would if it became the thing because I would have to do it.
But wouldn't you want to support people online who are grinding, setting up their own setups?
Yeah, I mean, if I could do the same thing with DSTV, like if I want to watch Supersport 1 to 3 only and just pay for those channels, I'll put the rest of the money into YouTube.
Yeah.
But fuck that, I'm not paying for both now.
And you guys, what would you do in this situation? Would you rather pay for the content you're watching, or if it still comes for free, would you still take it for free?
I still take it for free.
But
I mean, I throw donations.
Yeah.
I'll watch streams and
do you donate to streamers as well?
I do donate to streamers, not big streamers. I think they're fine with their ads. But like, I go like, this is actually when I say donate to streamers, like my mates. So like like someone that I know will come in and donate on my stream, and then I'll go to them and just donate that money back. And it kind of, but it's like you're trying to like, but I mean, I do donate. Like, but I don't donate as much as I probably should. Like I watch streams. I have them open nearly all day, and like sometimes I'll just go in. I didn't donate to that Russian chick. I was just like, I think I watched her for like an hour. I didn't stop. Like sometimes I'll watch someone for like 2 hours and then I'll just leave. And I saw on social media some female streamer got into huge amounts of trouble because she lost her shit on her stream the one day. She was just like she was playing. She plays for like 5-6 hours, like. Playing hardcore, getting into it, like it obviously worked really hard on the overlays and made it look really good. And then
no donations.
Well, she wasn't getting donations, and then someone gave her like $1 to say his name or whatever, and she just lost it. And she was like, if you're so ungrateful, and I won't keep playing unless I get like $100 in the next hour. And then a bunch of people grabbed it online and was like, entitled brat.
Yeah,
So,
that's
but I
hectic.
mean, you get money from YouTube, you get money from Twitch, from
Yeah.
adverts,
You
and they all
obviously
have
are-
brand deals and stuff. So I mean, but I do think it's tough. I think
Yeah.
it's hard, and if you're someone who's found yourself in a position where this isn't you're a good looking girl and it's an easy way to make money, like who am I to judge? Like,
Yeah.
I wish I could buy a house just from pretending to
Yeah.
do Just Dance. You know?
Yeah.
But I guess
Yeah,
going back to like, let's look at it, the basics. What exactly do you do when we say gaming? I mean, that's very broad.
I just play games. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. So you obviously do what the streaming
Yeah.
and the actual gaming.
So I do, yeah. So I play actual games on a stream and people watch me play, and then I have a YouTube channel as well. I have a blog. So the blog and the YouTube is a bit more lifestyle as well. So there's like tech. It's just stuff that I'm interested in that I talk about. So it is predominantly gaming, but there's tech aspects, there's like geek aspects, just anything that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's even makeup if I'm in the mood for that.
Yeah.
Like that'll get thrown in. But then my primary job, if you like, / source of income is I commentate on video games. So I'm a esports shoutcaster.
Yeah.
So I don't really do the shoutcasting as much. I actually desk host. So like
Okay.
I had to do like a really awkward interview the other day for, funny enough, we were talking about DSTV for CakeNet.
Okay.
And they asked me to explain what
CakeNet, shout
I do. Asked me to explain what I do to people that would never have any idea. And this came up in like very quickly, and now I'm just gonna stick with it. But it's super cheesy. But I'm always like, imagine Nasporter in rugby. That's me with video games. So I sit at that desk and do a similar sort of thing. That's kind of my vibe.
Like I said, I've obviously participated a bit in the gaming industry. So like it would be something sort of like Courage JD in a sense. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, he was big into Call of Duty. That's obviously where they started, and then they saw the Fortnite trend come through. All jumped onto that. So it's sort of like that, but you do it for which games?
So sort of like that, and then I also do like a little bit more of the jumping into the more like competitive side of it. So analyzing competitive guys playing for money. But I've jumped around with a lot of games. I'm mainly FPS focused, but I did a year with Overwatch. So I lived overseas and basically came home after every season and did Overwatch. I was the desk host every week for one of their
that's
big
dope.
leagues.
Yeah, Overwatch was really big as well, yeah.
Done lots of Nintendo stuff. So Smash, which is a fighting game, I do a lot of that. And then last year I spent a lot of time in Berlin working on the PUBG Europe League.
That's really cool. And
So
PUBG is a big game.
So what is PUBG?
PUBG is basically just picture. Oh, dude, did you ever play Counter-Strike?
I know. I do. I've played it for fun.
Yeah, so it's sort of like that, but a battle royale. If that makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
And-
like the big boys Fortnite.
The
Yeah.
big boys.
So
Oh,
it's a really cool game, but obviously, I think for me personally,
you would like to be able to build houses on it.
no. So there was a lot less content coming through from PUBG to make it as big as Fortnite. Remember?
That's his excuse. You have to have really good aim in PUBG. Because
No.
the only thing that matters is
So,
picking
like-
up a gun and shooting people, and you can't build a house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the thing is, like Fortnite, there's a lot of content that comes with that. It's stupid, right? That obviously kids love, dude. That's why I'm saying that game blew up so much. You know, they would have videos of them like, I don't know, dude, building a sky base. You can't do that in a game like PUBG. It's more realistic. It's a way more realistic game where it's like, you know, you feel like you're actually in war. Where Fortnite, it's like you some anime character.
No, you fucking Fortnite nerds.
When PUBG
Was
came out,
a
it was
Fortnite
before
nerd.
Fortnite, and it was sort of this battle royale that came out. Everyone loved it. It was one of the most played games. And then Fortnite came out and stole quite a bit of the audience.
Shut.
Yeah,
They're pretty similar though when you look at them on paper. The idea is the same, but I think with PUBG it is exactly what you said. They weren't bringing out as much content. They're
Yeah.
trying now. They do a lot for the competitive community, way more than Fortnite currently does. But for the casual player, the game just wasn't moving fast enough. And also after PUBG's success, because PUBG kind of surprised everyone, everyone and their mom was doing a battle royale. So like, COD had a battle royale, and then Fortnite, and then Apex Legends came in, and everyone that comes in is better and better and better. You got to either improve your game or hope that your audience stays loyal.
let's
Sort
test
of jumping on the bandwagon type of thing.
Yeah. Frey, let's test your knowledge. Do you know what a battle royale is?
Yeah, it's where a whole bunch of people fight.
Yeah.
It's the Hunger Games.
It's like Hunger
Video
Games.
Yeah.
It's basically the concept from the Hunger Games where everyone
It's
jumps into a
stupid
match.
movie as well.
It wasn't that
Yeah.
bad.
Do you know what happened to me though? I tried to explain to a parent once. I did commentate on a Fortnite event.
Yeah.
And this mom came up to me. Her kid was playing in this competition. And she was like, can you, like, I always watch this and I see all the pictures on the screen. Can you explain what's actually going on? So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I'm like, basically, there's 100 kids and they're all on this battle bus. They're going to land on this island. They're going to pick up guns and they're going to shoot each other. And the last person standing wins. And she looks at me and she's like, no, that's not what he's playing. He just does these dances and stuff. And it turned out that this mom, because obviously Fortnite actually has an age restriction, was letting her 8-year-old play and didn't realize that his entire job was to pick up guns and shoot people and kill them.
Crazy.
And she was absolutely horrified, and she was like dragging him away from this like activation. And I was like, oops, my bad. But also I was so blown away. I was like, how did you not know that was what your kid was doing? Like, did you not see him running holding a gun?
Yeah, but that's the thing about Fortnite though. It looks harmless. It looks like that's what I'm saying. It doesn't look as realistic as PUBG, where PUBG
and it's sort of named like it could
be anything.
Doesn't sound too hectic.
Like PUBG, do you know what PUBG stands for?
No, that's what I wanted to
Player
know.
Unknown's Battleground. So it also sounds a bit more. But anyway, let's move into the state of gaming in South Africa, right? Obviously, South Africa, we're a lot smaller country, also a third world country. So we obviously struggle to get things up and running. How do you think gaming's doing in South Africa as a whole?
So I think it's much better than what it was. We had this like weird moment. So when I got into esports specifically, I was involved in gaming, and then my brother used to play, so I'd always watched it. But then when I decided I was going to make some noise about it and create content, it was very much like kids were playing for keyboards. It was kind of like not something that everyone really spoke about or knew. And then esports blew up overseas. So overseas, everyone was talking about competitive video games, and there were these kids making millions and millions of dollars, and they were filling stadiums. And everyone in South Africa went, okay, cool, esports is going to be big, so we need to throw money in esports. But they didn't really look at the infrastructure of the country or the gaming community or anything. And then I'd say about 3 years ago, like all these brands just started throwing cash. And next thing they were like R1 million tournament here and R1 million tournament here. And it didn't work, which was, it was pretty obvious it wasn't going to work. And then the money kind of vacuumed out. Now it's starting to grow again. But I think gaming in South Africa, from that point of view, we're really small in comparison to the rest of the world. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we have really specific socioeconomic circumstances that affect people in the country. So it's kind of difficult to grow something like gaming, where a game costs 999 rand and a console's like 5-6 grand. Yeah. When the majority of people can't even afford
that.
Yeah, so it's the upper middle class basically playing the games, because it also obviously relies on like fiber and internet and whatever, and then paying for all the shit. I mean,
and that's the big thing. Because Fortnite's basically the only game that I've played of recently, right? Yeah. And then I tried Call of Duty. But even with what do you call it? With Fortnite, this game's been out for like 2 years now, maybe 2.5 years, and it's arguably one of the biggest games in the world right now. We don't even have African servers yet, right?
But you know why we don't have African servers? So this is like, I get into arguments with guys all the time. They're like, if we just had servers, gaming would be bigger. Yeah. And I was like, no, because the games that in South Africa that do have dedicated servers, like Call of Duty,
have people that spend money.
No, well, not only that. No, it's there's not enough people playing. So we played a lot of Call of Duty at one point because of the South African servers. And the first 3 weeks after the game comes out, the place is pumping, and you can find a game every few minutes, and you're having fun. And then slowly everyone sort of moves away into the next thing. And then next thing you're sitting for half an hour waiting to find a game because there's just not enough players. And it goes back to that argument about player base. Yeah. There's not enough players to just, if you have servers, then you need to make sure that there's enough players on those servers that at all times, if I come on, I can find a game. Yeah. And like Battlefield suffered from this as well, because they had servers in Quake. You would wait 45 minutes to just find other South Africans. And then remember, the skills gap happened. So Quake was a game that I loved, but if I played on a South African server, guaranteed the people that I'd be put in a game with were like, I mean, we've got some of the I would argue some of the Quake players that could go up toe to toe with some of the best in the world. I do not want to be in a game with them. Yeah. And then they would be in the game and I'd be like, oh, I don't want to play with you because this is not going to end well. So I used to be super like, we just need servers, we need more money, we got to build. But then I kind of started speaking to, and I do think that this is maybe a privilege of mine, that I had the chance to start speaking to game developers and start speaking to companies here, and realized we have such a tiny player base. Like, there's just not enough people to play that game.
But don't you think you'd be able to bring, like, let's say the whole of Southern Africa into like one server, you know, don't you? Because if you look at Australia, right, a lot of Australian like streamers that I've watched, there's multiple times where they end up waiting for games, or they end up in the same game, ending up in the same game in America as a friend that's sitting right next to you. You guys say join at the same time is difficult, right? Because there's so many games going on at the time. But if you end up playing and getting into the same game as someone, you start realizing that there's not that many people, bro. And Australia, this happens all the time, but they always get servers. They always get like all the infrastructure that they need.
What effects does not having a server mean? Like,
it means that you basically, so you get ping, right? Okay. So that means it takes you a lot longer to send whatever signal you're saying to
Because
Europe.
it's further away,
Yeah,
basically.
okay.
Sometimes
That's like the
you
easiest
shot
way
in
to
the
explain
head
it.
and you didn't even see it coming.
Yeah. And it really, like, if you want to then, let's say, you're a good South African gamer in any game and you want to compete, it makes it a fuckload harder for you to practice and get good at a game where you have maybe a second or two delay, you know, compared to that guy.
Yeah, of course.
And
yeah.
that makes a big difference, you know?
Some games I find are like some developers are just they make really good games, and so like Overwatch, I don't feel the ping. Okay, I'm not a pro player, so like I've spoken to pro players and they tell me to shut up. But I was like, for me, I don't feel it. Like if I play Overwatch, it's a good game. Apex Legends, I don't feel it. But I felt it in other games, and I get annoyed. But I'm also like, the benefit is I can play this game over and over again if I had an SA server. But I also think that it's important to look at like, so this was the thing is when you look at the amount of the player bases, Fortnite has a huge local player base. FIFA has the biggest. So FIFA is like the most sold game every year. But that's also because it has that compatibility that it still comes out for the PlayStation 3. And so if you've got a console and you can't afford the brand new PS4, you can still go get the latest FIFA. That's not really something that's on offer for most games. So I think gaming in South Africa is still small in that sense. And we don't have a bigger player base. But I think if we looked at what we had locally and said, okay, cool, how do we change what we're seeing overseas to work here? It could work really well. We just don't do that. We always want to copy whatever we see. We have some of the best. I think 2 of our FIFA players are ranked in the top 50 in the world. They're some of the best in the world. Yeah. Let's pummel some support to them, you know. And our Fortnite players, I think one of them went overseas like 3 weeks ago to play at DreamHack. Like we've got good players.
But that's the thing maybe with like FIFA, you know, you can get good at FIFA and you don't have to be online. You know?
Yeah, you can
with
practice.
other games like Fortnite or Call of Duty,
online,
most of it's
basically.
online. So you need that ping to help you. So like you could sit at home, and that's where I loved gaming. Where we'd sit at my house playing FIFA, drinking FIFA. Like that's where it all started for me, bro. I was like, this fucking shit is amazing, bro. And we didn't have internet, bro. I didn't have Wi-Fi back then. This was like 6 years ago. I didn't have Wi-Fi. We just sit and play on a console, and that's how it used to be, you know, with your friends. And you used to just chill as a little group, like you know. For me though, it became. We'll touch on it a bit later. But it became very like reclusive. But we'll get into that later. I just want to move on to e-goals, like goals that maybe this is quite a touchy one, bro. I don't know, but so let me just put the statement out there, and then we'll see where we go from there. But obviously, Belle Delphine, right? She blew up a while back, and she did really weird shit. But for me, I felt like her target audience, right? When she sat there and she thought, okay, let's call it a business, okay? Let me start a business. Who is my target market? I felt like she was like, I'm going to target gamers, right? She like said it in the whole thing. Like she would always call her fans like gamers and like this and that and my e-boys and whatever. And she made a fuckload of money off them, bro. Like she had like these packages on Patreon that were like $3,500. And I think she had like 55 people just in that category. So if you do the maths, 55 people paying you $3,500 a month to see your not so safe content or whatever. Yeah. But there's a whole thing around anime goals and how there's a big turn on for a lot of guys. Yeah.
So do you want to explain what an e-goal basically is?
So dude, it's way different. It's not like a broad statement. Correct me if I'm wrong, but to me an e-goal could be a goal that games. Okay, that's just like a normal e-goal. But then you also get goals that are just online and they like label themselves as e-goals and they like try to get a profit out of these like desperate guys at home. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd be super, super tilted if you called me an e-goal. But like, I think that's it. Like, I'd be like, shut up. But no, I think e-goal has a different connotation now. Where it's like, it's those goals that are targeting thirsty gamers, you know? Well, not only gamers, like just thirsty men. So the joke is like, e-goals, I think most goals that actually game that are creating content or whatever, they don't want to be called an e-goal. Like
they hate the label,
They hate it because the label, it sort of insinuates that you're either trying to sleep with a pro gamer to make money because overseas,
they're rock stars, bro. They're living it up there.
Super fancy cars, like then you're an e-goal or you're selling your bathwater, like that sort of vibe.
It's
kind of got a negative connotation now, which is again, I do feel it's a bit unfair that it's kind of become a gaming thing, just because as much as they say that it's gamers and they're targeting gamers, I'm like, I don't think it's just gamers that are buying their bathwater. I think like there's pervy dudes on the internet, and you know, OnlyFans exists. It's not just gaming goals on there. Yeah, they just happen to get more love than maybe the others. I mean, is that the right term to use? Yeah, love? But like again, I'm kind of in the place where I'm like, it annoys me if I get called an e-goal because I'm like, I work damn hard and like you're not going to sort of limit me to that.
You're
But-
not selling your bathwater.
yeah, I'm not saying, I mean, I could try for a laugh, but I don't think people would buy it. But I was like, you're not going to limit me to just my physical appearance. But at the same time, again,
It
if
is
you
out there and
see
it
a
exists,
gap
yeah.
in the market, I've got,
Yeah,
you know,
the
like,
world.
I've got a couple of people that I follow on Twitter who have OnlyFans accounts. They're girls that are super smart. They run super successful businesses. They also sometimes show
Quite
their
interesting,
boobs.
yeah, that you're very open to this.
I mean, I would
quite
like. I'm
excited.
not. I'm not paying her to see her
Yeah.
boobs, but like I chat to her, and I think she's a super smart girl. I think she saw a gap. Like if that's her call,
Yeah.
that's okay, you know. And she gets a lot of hate for it. I see it. She gets treated like she gets a lot of white knights coming at her. She gets like just all sorts of.
Just
What
white
is a
nuts.
white knight?
Oh, it's that guy that comes in and is going to save you. You know, he's going to save you from all the mean men. And like, I mean, I'm going to be in trouble for this. I don't actually care. Someone on Twitter is going to know who I'm talking about, but whatever. So she has an OnlyFans account. She's okay with it. She was open about it. She was like, this is what I'm going to do. I make lots of money. I'm proud of my body. Let me go. And then like, there'll be these guys that'll DM her and be like, are you in a tough place? I can help you. You don't need to do this.
That's
You
so
know,
strange.
you're so much more than this. And she's like, don't come in here and try and save me
Yeah.
from a life. I want this life. Like, don't come and say. So we call them white knights. Sometimes you get them in Twitch chat as well. So like, which is again, it's a bit of a mean term. It's just people being nice. But sometimes like when I'm doing like an esports event, men can be mean. So they'll jump in and they'll be pretty trashy about you. They're trashy about everyone, girls or guys. But sometimes they're a bit harsh on girls. And then you'll get a guy that'll come in and like just go.
Stop
He's
it,
not
you guys.
defending the dudes though, but he'll go full in defending, say, me. And then everyone will be like, check this white knight. Like, which is it's a bit unfair. He's actually just being nice. But so you'll get those guys that are like, and then it's kind of funny because this particular instance I'm talking about, the white knight that was all like, oh, you should respect yourself more. At the end of the conversation was like, oh, how do I get some friends benefits for those photos? And I was just like, oh, I do. You get those. And then she gets like a lot of hate. Like there's a lot of women and men that I see tweet her that are just like,
That's the
vicious.
internet, bro.
No, that's the
It's
internet.
a
And I mean,
horrible place.
she's a gamer. She started in gaming. Now she's sort of moved into business and she's doing this OnlyFans thing. And I'm like, you know what? If that's what you want to do, I'm not going to do it. And I'm not saying I don't want to ever encourage girls to do it. I kind of want to say if you want to game and you want to create content around gaming, you don't have to go that route. I think there's more than enough women showing that that's not the case. But if that's what you want to do, so be it. Like,
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah, I think so too, bro.
You just explain it for me quickly. Like,
let's go. We're going to break this down.
no, because I need to get a full understanding.
Okay, we
of
have
it. So,
3
like,
minutes.
An e-girl, very briefly, does actually do something connected with gaming and then goes and like sells her tits online.
Not all girls,
Yeah.
not all e-girls sell their tits
It's so
online. I
hard
mean,
to
some of them
explain.
just do.
Yeah, no, I'm
Ways,
talking
yeah.
about the
I
specific
like the way
ones
you
that
said
have.
do stuff in gaming. Yeah, some of them do esports players. Some of them do.
Yeah.
Anything. Yeah, but like,
So like, let's talk about Belle Delphine. Before she became,
She wasn't
selling
really
her bathwater,
into
did she
gaming
do
though.
anything
No,
related
she
to
wasn't
gaming?
really into
So why
gaming.
the fuck is she an e-girl?
Because she's
She's an
dresses
online
up as
presence.
anime
Yeah.
characters that have like links and look like characters in different games and
So
the anime
you don't
industry.
necessarily need to be a gamer and people are watching your live
No.
stream and then you're like, oh, if you want more
We
of
spoke about this a bit off camera, right? But Dota and League of Legends, right? I thoroughly believe that people who play those games, in a sense, would rather be in that reality than in this reality,
Yeah,
right?
so
They
if
like
you've got
deep
alt
into it.
ears on and shit,
Like,
they're like, oh yes.
Dude, and they love their characters and they
don't. I'm gonna go and give him such a hard time.
like I honestly, when you speak to them, they speak about these characters like they're real people, bro. And it's like, holy fuck, there's a whole different world out there for you than to me. And like, it's way too much for me to handle, right? But now imagine a girl that you like dresses up as this character that you've been playing online. I don't know.
Yeah, I
or
guess so.
there's a Twitch for it.
So I'd be
There's
like, I'm Anastasia the Great. I bet you don't know what my boobs look like. And then they'll be like, oh God,
yeah.
let me pay you some cash and I get to see Anastasia's boobs.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that's the thing. I think e-girls kind of just devolved on the internet as like it kind of refers to anyone that's potentially going that route. It's also quite it's quite an offense. I don't want to use the word offensive, but it is kind of a term that I think even maybe girls that are technically e-girls don't like so much anymore because they kind of again, like if you're running a successful business on OnlyFans and you can pay photographers and you're taking great photos, you're not an e-girl, you're an entrepreneur, you know? Like, so I think it's like a bit of a, it's not a great term, but it is what it is. And it's just kind of become a way to explain girls on the internet. It can also be mean. Like some people will call girls that just because they know that it's hurtful, if you like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean.
But also thinking from a guy's point of view, we've got like a minute. I want to wrap this up quickly, but I don't understand the fact of paying for stuff when there's so much free stuff online already.
Because
you know,
you're not going to find
It's niche,
Anastasia
though.
the Great.
it has to be
online.
niche.
Yeah.
Oh, true. You know,
Yeah, you want your.
I don't want to say it, but like, yeah, obviously,
I
I've
also
never
kind of
paid for
respect,
porn, bro.
I respect dudes that pay those, like, that subscribe to OnlyFans accounts and send donations. I mean, as much as I laughed about the Russian girl earlier, I'm like, I think it's cool that they're like, at least they're going, okay, cool. Like, I appreciate that you're doing this, and I don't deserve it for free.
Yeah.
Like, this is a way for you to make income. Like, I kind of feel like I respect people more than guys that are like sharing revenge porn. You know what I mean? I was like,
That's crazy. We touched on that like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But let's take a break. We'll be back in 2. Okay, so we're back now. Obviously, we're going to move on to the next topic, which is going to be the future of gaming, specifically in South Africa, and then we can also just touch on it like worldwide, because I think it's moving at a rapid pace that people I don't think are expecting. And just to give you like a little bit of background, like, do you guys know who Scooter Braun is?
Yes.
So I've told you guys about
That's
this.
Bieber's manager.
Yeah, so he's Bieber's manager, and he's now even pumped in a lot of money to become an investor in a team called 100 Thieves.
We
you
saw
know,
that video
I showed you guys the
place.
houses
Holy
and yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
So it's crazy seeing how gaming, if you looked at it maybe 10 years ago, where it was, you know, just like a small thing, how big it's become and how fast it's growing, you know, and what is the future of gaming, you know. So let's get Sam's input on everything. Where do you think the future of gaming is heading in South Africa and worldwide?
I think worldwide it's just going to get bigger.
Yeah.
I also think that like gaming, I touched on it earlier where like when I was in high school, it wasn't cool. Like you were a super nerd. If you played video games, you guaranteed bullying. Now, playing games is cool. Like being a gamer is cool. Like it's a weird switch because now you're kind of like the jock. You know what I mean? You're the cool kid, whereas before you weren't. So I think it'll get bigger. I also think people are starting to see gaming as an educational tool. There's a lot of games out there that actually offer far more from an education perspective. And I think it's gone from being entertainment. There's an education way to like help kids focus a little bit more, learn things in a gaming sense. So gamification's become a huge thing. I think it's just going to get bigger from the competitive side. Obviously, like there's just more and more money. I think that it'll get a bit more controlled, but that's there. I also think in South Africa it will get bigger. I think we have different issues to face, but I do think in the last few, I'd say the last 2 years, I've definitely seen it grow. Yeah. And I think if we can get the cost of data down, we'll see more kids playing games. And I think if we can get the cost of, for me, the biggest thing is hardware. I'm very scared. Obviously, all the new consoles are coming out. So at the end of the year, we'll have a new Xbox, we'll have a new PlayStation.
We'll watch your reviews on those.
Yeah. I mean, if I can get my hands on them. But I'm scared about the cost. Like, that is something that worries me. I'm like, the cost of those things coming in, I think that's a worry because I don't think that they're costed for our market.
Yeah, because how much do you think PlayStation 5 is going to be? PS5, yeah.
I rate the first PS5 drop will come in at close to 10 grand.
That's crazy, yeah.
I might be wrong, but I'm
no, but it sounds about right because I think the last one was around 6, 7.
Yeah,
so I mean,
I'm rating for a 10 grand drop.
Yeah.
Buying cell phones and shit for that price and more.
Yeah, but remember, your cell phone can generate you money, eh? Just to let you know.
So can your PlayStation.
Yeah. But I'm saying like
We're just talking about money or
No. But I'm saying like, you know, if you think about your cell phone, it's a tool that you sort of like everybody needs it, you know?
Yeah, it's more of
to
a
like communicate.
necessity, yeah.
You know, communication is fucking major, dude. Like that's why all these big telecom companies are fucking billionaires.
I mean, I don't know if you can you pay a PlayStation off in installments or do you have to purchase
it? You can
it
now. So I've seen now that you've got like you can pay off your PlayStation, you can pay off your Xbox. I see now that Microsoft's also got a deal with Vodacom for Xbox. So if you want to buy games, you can actually buy them on your Vodacom, your cell phone account.
I should have.
And then, so they'll put that on your account. So I'm sure there's a lot of parents whose credit cards are going to be in for a big surprise. But I do think it'll grow. I just think that the cost is a lot. I also think games are expensive. Hey, like they're 1,000 rand.
$1,000.
You can get them cheaper if you download, but not everyone has fiber. So like, if we can somehow find a way to bring the cost of the
gaming
hardware and the games down, it'll grow faster. But I do think it'll grow.
Yeah.
But does this is it sort of in line with international standards like prices? I mean, if you buy a game in America, is it going to equate to a similar amount? Or
well, I think in the States, more people just buy. You can buy them online, and then they're cheaper. The moment you buy them online, they're cheaper, and you just download them. But I think in South Africa, it's a bit of an issue because not everyone has a fiber connection to download, 74 gig game. So that's a problem. But I do think gaming's growing. I just think that, like we've spoken about it a lot, it's going to grow in a different direction and a different speed locally. Saying that though, like, just this weekend and next weekend alone, there's so many tournaments for guys to play. We've got I think now in the next month there's like Rand Show, and they're going to have a big gaming section. Vote Awards just announced that they're doing like FIFA tournaments every weekend. You've got Comic Con, you've got Rage, so there is more and more available. There's like gaming cafes popping up everywhere where kids can go and play, so I do think it'll grow. I just don't think it's going to grow as fast as we see it grow overseas.
And then what do you play mainly? Do you play PC or like PlayStation or Xbox?
So I mainly play PC.
Okay.
I have a PlayStation. I have an Xbox as well, which we never. I think it's in a box somewhere.
Yeah,
I've got an Xbox.
That came, and then something other than my PC, something that I love. I play my own. I've got a Nintendo Switch console, which I think is. I don't understand why not every single person in the world has one. They're so much fun because it's portable, but you can also dock it and play it on your TV.
Yeah, it's clever.
But are the games like the same quality and stuff?
The games, I think some of the Nintendo games on that Switch are some of the best available right now. Like,
See, I've never even like.
I've never played a Switch. Yeah, I've never played a Switch, bro.
The Switches you can get, and you know what the thing about the Switches? This is going to blow my. So Doom, which is like one of my favorite games to play on PC. So they came out and they said they're going to put Doom on the Switch, and I was like, lol, that's going to be the worst idea. I played it. I obviously don't like the controller aspects. I like playing with a mouse and keyboard, but I can't tell the difference on that little screen. I mean, there's obviously like a couple of things, but for the most part, it's the exact same game. They also just released The Witcher, which obviously big Netflix series, but that was super famous PC game. The Witcher's on the Switch now. There's obviously some differences when you put it on that small screen, but that little console is mind-blowing.
Dude, mobile gaming's become a fucking huge thing as well.
Isn't it?
So PUBG and Call of Duty on mobile now.
Mobile gaming still generates the most money internationally, doesn't it, from gaming?
That's because lots of people pay to refresh on Candy Crush.
But
fair enough. Mobile gaming is huge. I always laugh about this when I meet people who say, oh, I don't game, I'm not a gamer. And then I'm like, oh, okay, cool, so you don't play any games? They're like, no. I'm like, oh, okay, what's on your phone? And then they've got like 3 games. They've got like
Clash
Zombie, Apocalypse. I have a friend who's a yoga instructor and a personal trainer, and she's always like, oh, games are for nerds. And then the one day she's sitting on her phone, and I'm like, what are you playing? I've never even heard of this game before. She found some game where she's like killing zombies, and then there's another game where she's building. And I was like, what are you playing?
Yeah.
She was like, oh no, I play these all the time. And it turns out she spends more time on her phone playing those games than I do behind a PC.
That's crazy.
But she doesn't consider herself a gamer. So I think mobile gaming as well, and also the new phones.
Yeah.
They're phenomenal to play games on.
So for just a quick, I wanted to throw this in during the conversation, but from a tech aspect, not just the gaming aspect, which phone do you think is the best at the moment? Have you seen the S20 at the moment? Or?
So I've seen the Samsung. I'm not an Android fan. Which this is like, because this is the worst. Every time I say that, I really like Apple's infrastructure. Like, I just like being part of their ecosystem.
The ecosystem.
I like the iPhone, but I mean, those Android phones, there's far more you can do on them, actually.
It is true.
There is.
There is far more, but
like, literally just expandable memory is such a big thing to me, bro. Because obviously with my photography and everything.
I can't stand Apple because everything is like its own. Like, you need a fucking Apple charger. You need an Apple computer. You need an Apple watch. Like, shut the fuck up.
So so I'm kind of the standout in my friend group because I'm like, I like my iPhone, and also I'm like a bit weird. So if I work on a Mac. I prefer editing video on a MacBook, but then when I'm playing games and streaming, I'm obviously on a PC. Yeah. And a lot of my mates are always like, this makes no sense because, like, it's
what do you use to edit your videos? iMovie or Premiere Pro?
I sit on iMovie. If I have to be super serious, I go to Premiere Pro, but I'm not very good at it. So, like, iMovie.
I use Premiere Pro for everything, dude. Premiere Pro, I use Adobe. I think their products are fucking...
iMovie's so easy, though, because you can just cut and paste.
No, but you can also just cut. You use the C and the V, and that's cut.
I've also, I've actually got a friend now who plays games with me, who I now pay to edit my videos because he's just way better at it. Yeah. I'm, like, super impatient, so I'm the worst. It's like how I came up with the name Tekel. When I decide I want to do something, I just want to do it, and it must be done, and it must go up. And then I don't want to spend 7 hours fixing it and making it neat. It must just happen. So now my friend Shanok is like, I pay him and he edits my videos because he's like, it drives me insane sometimes because I can see that you went, I should fix that, but I'm done now. It's going up.
Dude, and sometimes if you're in like a big edit and you have to go back and fix something in the middle, it's the fucking biggest mission, bro. But let's move on to, I was going to speak about VR, but I don't want to, let's not go on a tangent for too long, but
VR is the best. Have you used VR before?
I actually have not.
So I've used like the silly VR, bro, where you put the phone in the goggles. I haven't done proper VR.
Has anyone played Beat Saber?
No. But I've seen it. No. Beat Saber's like, this beat comes and you have to like slash it with like
So the only thing that I ever play on VR, so I have a VR headset at home, which is currently sitting in a box. I have to set it up. But my significant other doesn't want me to set it up because when I play Beat Saber, things get broken. Like, that is the only game I play on VR. It's the absolute best. If I play it, I will play it for 7 hours straight. You basically have 2 lightsabers, and you have to there's music playing, and to the beat, you have to cut things up. These little blocks fly at you, and obviously, the faster the song and the harder the levels, the more.
I'll show you
Guitar
Hero, but like
it's like Guitar Hero, but with lightsabers. It's the best thing ever. I couldn't be interested in getting any other VR game. That's all I care about. Is playing.
I've got a lot of questions on VR, but I'll summarize them now because that VR looks awesome. And I was watching a video. I actually should have mentioned it in the previous category we were talking about the future of gaming and stuff like that. And I see there was some place these guys went to in America, and you put on a full like suit vibe, and it's like that Ready Player One that you're telling me about. And they were literally in like a shooting game, and you can actually go with a group of mates. You all put on the suits and you play your game. The one thing with VR that I always wonder about is like if you are confined to a small area and you've got to run somewhere. I mean, you said you get those like mats that move with you.
Yeah,
basically.
so that's like the future of VR eventually, where you can have like a whole rig that you'll be doing the actual movements, but you'll be in a room.
But if I'm in my lounge playing VR, surely I am going to run through the window.
No, so obviously how VR is at the moment is you've got 2 controllers in your hand, and it looks like like your sensory, like 4 eyes and like your hearing will feel like you're there, but you move forward and backwards with controllers, and you move around with controllers still. Ready Player One is like the craziest concept ever, though, where you eventually doing everything that you would have, but you're in one room in your house, but it feels like you could be anything, anywhere in the world that you want it to be, right? Yeah. And that's what I was saying about VR, though. I was like, if VR does work and it is a fucking success, I think the world is fucked, bro. I think Ready Player One is a real thing, dude. How many people would want to escape reality and sit at home and be in their dream? Take even your parents who want a holiday. Imagine just experiencing a holiday and it feels as real as they're on the beach, Like, who would want to be going to work every day doing their thing? So, I don't know. Yeah. VR is very, very tricky and very tough.
I went to Taiwan, and they have a VR setup there where you put the whole headset on and whatever, and then they have, and you see this before you put the headset on, they have a mattress and they have a beam across the mattress, and the whole thing is you put the setup on and you walk across the beam. But when you've got the setup on, they've got music playing. They put these big wind machines going, and they're blowing wind at you. And then you've got this headset on, and it looks like you're outside walking across this beam, and then there's dragons coming at you. Now your brain's going, dragons aren't real.
Yeah.
But the wind's blowing. Your brain's going, I've seen this beam. There's a mattress. Like I'm not above. I'm literally like maybe I would say 30, not even 30 centimeters above.
Crazy, yeah.
I was shaking like at one point, and then you get to the end and they tell you to jump. And every single person who jumps, their legs just collapse underneath them because
it feels so real.
Because it looks so real, and your brain's going, "This isn't real." But in your mind, I jumped and I went straight down because I was like, "Ah!" Like,
that's
and I just was like, I think it would be pretty cool. I've seen as well like crowdfunders where they've made treadmills, so you can run
that's cool. Like when you're actually doing that, when you're actually moving yourself, and then it becomes real.
I think VR. I do worry that it's going to isolate us all from each other. But like I know, like I said, if I play Beat Saber, that's 8 hours, and that's not even like a proper. I saw another game.
8 hours.
I can play 8 hours of Beat Saber. It's my favorite game. I also knock a bunch of stuff off. There was another game as well where, and it when it released, the demo was far better. When it released, it kind of failed. But there was this game where you played as a psychologist whose job it was to get into the heads of people suffering from PTSD and then walk through their memories. And this whole thing's in VR. Yeah. So you, as the psychologist, go into their head and then you choose certain memories and then you go into the memories and you engage
so you
with
could be in like in a war and stuff like
all
that.
All of that. So like the one for me was that when I played the demo was that the kid, the person whose head you were in had come back from a war, PTSD, had murdered all these people. They're trying to figure out why. So you went back to his childhood and you walked through the house when it was happy. So it takes you through the house and you can look at all the things. And then you walk through the second time when his dad has been drinking and is screaming and hitting people. And the way that it changes, because obviously you're in this head, but it's the same house and you're engaging with stuff. And I remember coming out of that. I mean, I think I played it for 10 minutes. And when I finished, for the next 4 days. I felt super like, and it was weird because it was someone's idea of what it would look like if you were walking through memories. And I was like, stuff like that, I think you're just going to see more and more of it. And it's freaking cool, but it's also a bit scary about like, we're just going to shut ourselves off.
Yeah, because talking about that war situation, I watched a Vice episode where there's this actually psychologists, weirdly enough, who also started trying to implement VR in situations. So a guy, I mean, it's pretty much what you said, but a guy had PTSD from the war, and the psychologist slowly implements him back into the same scenario. So he obviously like freaks the fuck out when he's in that scenario because maybe he killed a lot of people or whatever. And the guy, they actually recreated exactly as it was. And then
That's
they
sick, bro.
see if they can encounter it again.
Yeah.
Like, and just try walking through it.
touch base
People, they
with
freak
it.
the fuck out. They're like, I'm back here again, sort of
Yeah.
vibe. I only saw it based on war. I didn't see it on anything else, but it's sort of something that's coming into play.
But that leads us perfectly to the next topic, was
War?
no, not war, imagine. But how technology can positively impact and negatively.
Yeah.
So
So
like-
there's my one. So
Yeah, well, so I was thinking from like a sports point of view, right? Think about some sports where like, I don't know, let's say it's raining and you can't really play rugby today or practice passing or something. Imagine you put on a VR headset and get like proper VR and you could be on the treadmill. Remember that I'm talking, it's very advanced, yeah. And you like actually feel like you're playing rugby now, but actually in a room doing nothing, you know, like
I
maybe
wonder
it
if
could
we'd
start
be
helping
able-
sportsmen, could be
Yeah.
helping, you know, a lot of people, bro. Maybe like on a more serious note, like you said, like with people with PTSD and that kind of stuff. But I think it will be implemented firstly, like in situations where people have money, more where people,
100%.
yeah, you know, like big sports
it'll come
teams and
from,
yeah.
like, big programs that they get. But like I was thinking, maybe also if people have been in an accident and they're still learning to walk. I don't know if
That's
you have
true.
like
And you can have
VR
a-
showing you sort of walking again by
Yeah.
way of VR. I don't know how exactly you would do it, but I
Yeah.
think there's ways in that. I mean,
Yeah, also
Yeah,
no,
the positive
definitely.
the positive impacts of technology in terms of medical conditions
Mm.
would be huge as well.
in terms of what, diagnosing them or treating them.
Treating, diagnosing, you know, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, but
And
it's
then obviously negatively, you just end up like switching yourself off from the whole world, you know?
Look at the internet. It's supposed to be the best thing ever. It's
Yeah.
horrible.
Like it's crazy, you know? And like I said, dude, I played Fortnite for like 8-9 months, right? Dude, those 8-9 months, I was in my room, I was playing Fortnite the whole time.
But at the same
Like, I wasn't
time,
keen
you're
to-
chatting to all your mates.
So that's where the whole thing,
online.
that's where it gets me, right? It feels like you're not in a room with yourself, right?
Yeah.
It feels like you're with your friends and you're sitting there, but you're not really with your friends. You're not really sitting there, right? But then, like Mike, who didn't play games, right? He'd be like, "Okay, let's go out. Can I come chill or whatever?" And I'll be like, "Oh, but like, I've got friends upstairs waiting for me to play games." It's like, what the fuck? It's like you don't understand what's going on, you know?
No, when I was staying with my parents, Mitchell in his room, I would hear at like 2:00 in the morning, he's laughing. Just laughing in his room.
Dude, you have the best times, right? And it's amazing. But what I started realizing was like, I'm fucking always in my room doing like nothing, dude. Like, you know, I was playing with maybe like Josh, which was cool to speak to, or friends that were overseas that I haven't seen
This
for a
was
while.
also
The
varsity
overseas
days when
aspect
you
of it.
had time.
Yeah.
Though.
And I had more time and everything, but I was just like eventually like, fuck, I can't do this anymore, bro. I was just like, I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, I quit everything. I was like, I'm not going to play these games anymore. Because negatively for me, I just felt like I was in my room the whole time, bro. I was like, this fucking sucks.
Did
I
you
was like,
quit because of you could see what it was sort of doing, or did you just?
dude, it became like a whole thing of like, oh, dude, I just didn't like it anymore, bro. I don't know how to explain it. I didn't like it anymore. I didn't like sitting in my room. I didn't like playing those games. I didn't like, it was all just at once. I was just like, and like, I went for like 9 months hard. And then I was like, okay, maybe I went in it too much, too quickly, you know?
Yeah.
It was very strange, bro. It was a weird time. I was like, holy fuck. Like, I didn't go to gym much. I didn't do much. I was like, holy fuck, this sucks.
Yeah, the strange
And
to
then,
witness that, bro.
Yeah, Mike's down here every night.
Mike's like, what the fuck?
He used to come over and chill. I used to go upstairs and like watch him play and talk to everyone.
Yeah.
And then I'll just be chilling there. Like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. That was a cool move.
Because then,
there.
like, now you have friends that want to come to your house, but you're playing
Yeah.
games. And I was like, you can't mix the two, right?
Yeah.
You have to be in the game to be
So
with
you
those
get
people.
him a headset so you can just.
No,
sit
so what
there.
we
Play
did
with
to the
you.
boys,
So what,
yeah.
what we tried to do though was then eventually, because Mike also doesn't really like playing at all. So what we did once is I would have the microphone on, but the audio was coming from the TV, right?
Yeah, so at least I could
So
chat
he could hear everyone that was like there. But dude, what a fucking crazy thing to even speak about. Like, what is this world coming to, bro? Like,
It was strange.
yeah, it was super strange. I'm glad I'm not doing that shit anymore. But I still understand gaming 100%, you know, like I said. Like Tim now, you obviously know Tim, but dude, that guy fucking got to level 155 in Call of Duty like in a month, bro. Like, he's doing nothing in England but Call of Duty, bro.
It is really cold in England though. And it's kind
Yeah.
of miserable. So
Yeah, they
like,
don't really want
Yeah.
to go
no,
outside.
you don't want to do anything but play games.
You know, so like that's maybe for me the negative part of gaming, where you like shut yourself off from the whole world in a sense,
Yeah,
bro.
I think I wouldn't say gaming in particular, but with the rapid increase of technology, as good as it is with all of this advanced stuff coming into play, you're sort of kicking humans out of jobs.
Yeah.
So you're going to have this eventually. I mean, if all societies were wealthy and all of that, you'd have all this technology. Say, for example, AI could diagnose you with an illness or whatever it might be.
If you look at a lot of medical aid companies now, a lot of medical aid companies now, don't want to mention any names, but they have apps now, and these apps you can speak to doctors over your app, and you can. So like that's already the first step. The next step is that this phone is going to be able to take your blood pressure, going to be able to do this, going to be able to do that. So technology is very crazy, but I don't want to run out of time because we have a game that we have to play. So the game basically, there's a statement on the card, and then Sam's going to have to guess who it applies to. So some of them are a bit risky, some of them are a bit funny.
Hopefully
I don't know.
You've learned enough
about us. Yeah, that's what I was. That's sort of like the thing, you know. How has our conversation gone? Are we entertaining? Do we let you know like who
No,
we
that's
are?
not fair. You can't be like, oh, if we're not entertaining, you won't know who we are. Come on, that wasn't fair.
No, obviously that's just a big joke. Just now you got to know us, but you
Now
can obviously
I feel
guess.
the
Yeah,
pressure.
there's a lot of pressure.
And we won't ask you to remember our names again, just in case you don't. So it's Fraser, Franco, and Mike.
No, it's funny as fuck.
I once messaged a friend to tell me their geyser had broken to get me out of a date night. Oh, but this could be anyone. I've even done this. Oh, no.
Out of us three, though, then let's say who would you guess it is?
So, out of you three,
Who would be more likely?
Fraser.
Okay,
Okay,
that's not me.
so it was not Fraser. Yeah,
Interesting. It was
good
Franco.
choice. It was me,
Oh, really?
and the guy I missed was Mike.
Yeah.
But I've done this before as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Sam can take one for that as well.
Yeah.
Apparently it's quite normal.
I am a gentleman.
There's no one. I mean, I didn't use a geyser excuse. I just used like sometimes.
The funny thing is
dates are
though, like
rubbish,
the
like-
geezer was just way too intense of an excuse, maybe.
I thought it was you because you were making eye contact.
I
Now I just realized you didn't care. So I was like, okay.
I was just having conversation. Like, I was,
She's
Okay,
really
let's
into this.
go. I got so drunk I ended up at a nude gay bar. Again, guys, not all. Like most of us.
What, has everyone done this?
I mean, most of us have done stupid things when we're drunk. Mike.
Nope.
I'm getting this really wrong. Who was it?
That was Franco.
that was me.
Oh, that was the best
okay.
story of our lives, though.
Can tell me what happened.
was
though.
Yeah.
No,
How did you end up
That's-
there?
no, it's
Okay, you got to tell the story. So we were at
I've never
86
been to a
public.
nude gay bar, but I ended up at gay bars a lot.
No, so this was a proper like hectic situation.
yeah.
So yeah, we were at 86 public in Randburg,
Mm.
and there's a dodgy like club downstairs.
Mm.
And Frey got really fucking drunk and went missing.
Yeah.
Then our friend Tim went looking for him, and then when they got to the bottom,
His girlfriend was like, guys, where's Fraser?
also yeah, his girlfriend, his girlfriend was like, yeah, where's Fraser? And then Tim went looking for him. Tim goes down to this club, opens the door, and Fraser's standing there, butt naked, and they like.
You went in there as well.
So I was in
about to
the
go on
I was in the
stage.
change room because I got.
He was gonna go
I'll
do a
tell the
show.
story. Yeah, I got in there and I said I want a ticket to go into this bar, please. And I mean I didn't know it was a nude bar and all that stuff, but I mean I was slaughtered. And then the guy like sort of says I need your wallet and all this shit. And it's like okay, but I said how am I going to buy drinks? He's like no, the drinks are free. I was like fuck yeah, take my shit. Then he gives me a clothes hanger. I was like, what's this for? He's like, your clothes. I was like, okay, free drinks. Get naked.
Yeah.
Go into the change room. Got my kid off. And next thing, old Tim comes running in. Like, get the fuck out of here.
What are you doing?
Dude, best story of my life, Frey. That is the best thing you've ever done, dude.
I would have stuck around if the drinks were free.
Yeah, but I think something bad would have happened.
Yeah, I think you would have, because it wasn't the safest place. But yeah.
Yeah.
Where's that address again? Just joking. Okay, next one. I lost my virginity at the age of 14. How am I supposed to know this after an hour talking to you guys?
Just gonna have to guess.
Mark.
No, it wasn't Mark.
It was Franco.
It was me.
I'm doing really well at this. This is fantastic.
I don't think you got one right.
Not one right. Okay. I laid on top of a car roof that was going 120 kilometers per hour. Franco.
Yes.
Go on.
And we'll insert clip of that video right now so everyone can see
Why
it.
did you do that?
It was fucking dumb. I was drunk.
he was
All the
drunk
stories
again,
start with, yeah, I was drunk.
The driver
So
was
your
sober
drunk
though.
story sounded fun. Yours
Mine was
sounded a
just
bit dumb.
stupid, bro.
Yeah.
It was one of the dumbest things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could have gone horribly wrong, bro.
But it was funny we got a video.
Yeah.
Okay. I got mugged by a gypsy in Prague and then chased her down. Fraser.
No.
Mike.
Why?
Yeah.
No, but you're like the soft one. I couldn't imagine you like running around going after a gypsy.
I got mugged. Yeah, it was a gypsy. It was a lady. She mugged me. Stole my money. I was like, I'm here with my rands in Prague. I need that shit, bro. So I chased her down. I started shouting at her. And I think she got scared.
Reprimanding her.
Yeah, and she got scared and she gave me my money back.
Did she pickpocket you?
Yes.
So you know that I probably shouldn't tell the story, but I will. I have this friend Quincy who got mugged by 12-year-old children. He was outside Joe, and they beat him up. That was the best. So he was outside. He came outside of Joe Cool's in like Durban, and they were like, "Give me your stuff." And he was like, "No." So the one kid just started kicking him, but he was like, "They were children." So he was like, "What are you doing?" And then the other one started kicking, and the next thing he realized he was on the floor, and they'd taken all his stuff.
Fucking hell.
And it's my favorite story. It's like, remember that time those kids beat you up and stole your things?
Oh, that's crazy, bro.
Okay, I've got one right.
Yeah.
I woke up in a hippies tent after attending my first trance festival. I would not take any of you for trance.
We aren't.
Yeah.
We did it right.
First and last.
A hippies tent. Fraser.
That one was me.
Franco.
Yeah.
You were my first guest, and then I was like, nude bar. Hippies tent.
Yeah, so I literally fell asleep in this tent, woke up that morning, and I had this chick with dreadlocks staring at me, and I was like, where the fuck am I? And then my tent was actually like 2 tents down from that, and I ended up hitting the wrong tent. And she looked at me and she was like, you look so comfortable with my pillows and blankets, I don't want to wake you up or anything. And I was like, what the fuck? I didn't even say anything, bro. Just went out the tent, and I was like, what the fuck?
I've never been to a trance party. It's
It's
never really been on my list of things to do.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's just that music in like the Matrix playing over and over
Again. I mean, you have to do it. I'm under the impression that it's fun if you do a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
Nah. Okay. I got suspended for the 3rd time for locking a change room and letting off a fire extinguisher while people were in the room. Fraser.
Yes!
Yeah.
We got another one right.
Suspended from school.
Yeah, for the 3rd time.
Now you represent people that do this.
I had to be in the game to run the game.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Oh.
I ended up in hospital after getting repeatedly hit by a police baton. Franco.
No. But the story actually starts with me.
Yeah, you can
So-
tell the
Yes,
story.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wait,
So-
but who ended up getting beaten up with the policeman?
Fraser.
Right, so it's actually us three. No.
It was actually us three. So we were at this pub down the road here, and Man United was playing Liverpool. And then we were a bit drunk. We were screaming that Man United sucks or whatever. And then this guy was like shouting at us. There was like a bit of an altercation or whatever. I went outside to have a cigarette because it was so like stuffy in there. And he was like shouting at these 60-year-old men. Went there anyway. This guy like libertied me out of nowhere, chipped my tooth. Then I went like with blood all over me to these guys, and I was like, this guy just fucking hit me. We ran after him. As we got there, this guy was by his car already, pulled out a police baton. Me and Mike saw the baton, and we were like, no.
Just ran and
Fraser just went
Right,
straight into it, and then they started beating Fraser with this police baton. Here we were like 1 o'clock in the morning, going to hospital trying to get him stitches for free. It was a fuck
Yeah,
show.
he like
it was
hit me in my
really
arm, then my leg, and like I kept going back at him. Then he
Yeah.
hit me across the face. I was just fuck.
Yeah, fuck, that was hilarious, bro.
Guys, you have way more interesting weekends than I do.
No, this was long ago. Nothing much goes on these days.
I threw up on my father when I was wildly drunk at a house party. Mark.
Yeah.
Yay! So I got one from each.
Yeah.
Get back here.
Okay.
And
Okay,
that's
now
all
we're
of them.
back.
Now
Oh,
we're
so
back
I
to
got
it.
a whole 3. Is
That's
that like a new record
3
for
out
the
of
least
9. Yeah,
amount?
3 out of 9 is not bad.
So
Yeah.
framing the
One
questions,
third.
that was tough.
Yeah, it is quite a broad statement, but I think she started getting it towards the end.
Towards the end, I was like, I
Yeah.
think I know exactly how these nights are being going.
Yeah.
What did your dad say, though?
And you
He was
were
not
young,
happy.
dude.
Yeah, this was, we were about 14,
14,
grade
15.
8, somewhere around there, yeah.
And we
Yeah.
had just been fucking grounded because we got
Yes.
caught drinking the weekend before.
Yeah.
And I convinced him to let me out. And then, he obviously came to pick me up from our house party, and I was not doing good.
Yeah. That's not a good
So
situation.
needless to say, he
Yeah.
was not happy.
We
Okay,
should
but Sam,
turn
yeah.
this into a game.
We should-
So we should take all your terrible but
Stories.
funny experiences, and then it could be like a game where you have to kind of navigate it, but the character's drunk, so you kind
Oh, fuck
of flopping
yeah.
all
In
over the place
VR,
at
yeah.
the time. And then the whole thing is that your controls, when you press them, they do the opposite thing because you're drunk.
Oh,
And people
fuck
have
yeah.
to try to get through this. There
That
we
sounds
go.
like
That's a
good
business
idea.
plan right
Yeah,
there,
exactly.
bro.
Now we just need a game developer, and we're good to go.
There we go. Sorted. Okay, Sam, you got a minute to let everyone know where to find you on Instagram and everything, and then we just want to say thank you so much for coming through.
Okay, cool. So it's Tech Girl ZA everywhere on the internet.
Everywhere,
pretty
YouTube.
much.
Actually, when on her Instagram, you can literally go. I saw it. It's like a little link tree thing. In your bio,
Yeah, with all my
takes
links.
you everywhere. It's fucking. We actually didn't do that, but anyway. Thank you so much for
Super
coming on the
pro.
show. It was amazing. We learned a lot.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty
Definitely.
interesting. And we'll see you guys next week.
Cool. Thanks.